Knittin Kitten podcast number 45. My name is Mallory, otherwise known as JustADoseOfLove all around the internet. So you can find me on Instagram, Reddit, Facebook, Ravelry, and TikTok under JustADoseOfLove. And you can find me on Etsy under ADoseOfLove. If you are a new viewer, welcome to the podcast. This is a bi-weekly-ish video podcast about knitting and crafts and whatever else I happen to be doing at the time. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. I am so glad that you decided to come spend some time with me today. Let's see, we are recording on Sunday, May 10th. Yes, 10th. It is about noon and it's also Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day to all of the moms out there. It's a very special day and I hope you get to spend it with those people that you love or get to talk to those people that you love. So now that that is all out of the way, I'm going to jump right into what is on my needles. I know it's been a while. The last video podcast was on March 20th. And a combination of life things and not having a lot of knitting to show you type things has led to this little bit of a break in between then and now, but I do have some things to show you, so I'm really excited about that. So on to the first project. Now this is a bit of a passion project of mine that I've been kind of mulling around the idea in my head for a couple years now, for sure a couple of years. I've always really wanted to make a hat and socks that have a bit of a fox looking motif on them. And you'll have to bear with me, I only started last night, so I can't even show you what the fox motif looks like yet, but I can show you what the brim of this hat looks like. I don't know what just dropped, but sorry about that. So here's the brim. This is a 1x1 rib with pearls and knitting through back stitches. This is on some leftover yarn that I had from a sweater that I had done earlier this year. That's really gonna bother me. And this is Cascade yarns on their Anthem base, which is 100% acrylic, and it's the burnt orange colorway, which is just, look at how beautiful this orange color is. I knew when I had this much left over from my sweater that I was going to have to try to do my fox hat with it. So I finally started and there it is, and hopefully I'll have either this finished or mostly finished by the next podcast so I can show you what it looks like. And the nice thing about it being acrylic is that I will be able to just toss it in the wash with the rest of my clothes, unlike any of the natural fibers that don't take to the washing machines quite so well. So there it is. And I'm currently knitting this up on 3.5mm needles, which is also US size 4. They are, I believe, 16-inch circulars, and I'll usually do my brim up on the 3.5mm, and then the body of the hat will end up being 4mm, which is US 6. So it's a little tighter on the brim, so it sits against your head just a little bit better. So that is one of the things that I've been working on. It is actually currently the only thing on my needles, but I do have some off my needle things to show you and a bit of a story to go along with one of them. First, I'm going to take a really quick coffee break. It's been a while since the last podcast, so I'm not entirely used to talking quite this much, but bear with me. I'm just drinking some regular coffee today, made it up on the French press this morning. I think I'm sold on making coffee with the French press in the morning because coffee grounds are so much cheaper than the Keurig cups. So, And then I get to put the water on boil while I'm brushing my teeth, and then when I'm done that, I put the coffee in the French press and let it sit for 6 minutes while I'm washing my face and doing that sort of thing. So the timing works out really well. Whereas with the Keurig, it was only 3 or 4 minutes, but there was nothing I was really doing in between the time I popped it in and when I was leaving, headed out the door. So I don't really know why I'm going into all of this, but I think I'm sold on the French press, which I got from Valley Village for like $6. Gotta love that thrifting. Anyways, off my needles. Let's go through some of that. Okay, so I did finally finish my Lilith sweater, which is by Baby Cocktails. There is a link below, and because I didn't mention it earlier, all of the information of everything that I'm talking about should be in the show notes below, and there should be a link to most of these things that would have a corresponding link. So the Lilith sweater by Baby Cocktails, I knit it up in Knit Picks yarn on their Brava base, which is 100% acrylic. Again, I just really love being able to throw my sweaters into the laundry with the rest of my clothes and not have to worry about them shrinking or being damaged beyond repair and the accompanying heartbreak that would go along with that. I do really, really love the merino sweaters. They're so much warmer, but acrylic is cheaper and I don't have to worry about it. So I'm gonna have to figure out what kind of system I'll be using once I have more merino sweaters so that they don't accidentally go into the washing machine. Yeah, so if you have any ideas, maybe just let me know, please. Anyways, Knit Picks Brava, 100% acrylic. It is the Persimmon colorway, and it's a worsted weight. So here it is. There it is. So it's got a raglan increase for the sleeves here. It's got full length sleeves, ending up with a 2x2 rib on the cuffs. It's got a little bit of shaping here, so you can see the front is longer. The front is shorter than the back. It's got a little bit of shaping there. And one of the things I really loved about this pattern, other than the beautiful detailing on the neck piece, obviously, was that the back of the neck had some built-in shaping for short rows, so that it sits just a little bit higher at the back of your neck, and it fits just a little bit better than some of the other sweater recipes, makeups, patterns. I don't know. Anyways, here it is. Now, I have a story with this sweater. This sweater, this beautiful, beautiful shaping on the neck that I love so much, I originally knit it so that I messed up my shaping. The short side was in the back and the long side was in the front, and it was short rows, and it had taken me like 4 hours, and I was so heartbroken when I realized that my neck piece was backwards from the rest of my sweater. So I decided not to do anything about it. My plan was, okay, I can fix this. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to unravel it from the top and just re-knit with these rows here. But I couldn't figure it out. I really, really tried, but with the short rows on the back, I just couldn't figure out how the heck to do that. And I was really frustrated. So what I did, because I couldn't figure it out, was I actually took scissors to my sweater and cut the entire neck off. Here it is. This was where I had to unravel things and it just wasn't working. So I cut the whole thing off. There it is. That was scary. That was really scary. And I didn't know what I was doing. Oh, so scary. And there's short row shaping in the front too. So then I had to figure out where the heck to pick up all the stitches with my needles on here so that I could knit it back. And what I ended up doing was I re-knit this basically with the right side on the front, and took this apart. You can kind of see, this is where I wove in my ends. So that's a little bit of a line there. That's my telltale line. And here. So what I did was I re-knit the entire neck, got the body onto a piece of salvage yarn, and Kitchener stitched the whole thing together. And it worked! Look at this! You can barely tell! You can barely tell, and I can't really tell unless I'm looking for it, because there's, like here, where obviously it didn't quite match up perfect. I was a little bit concerned about the increases and trying to find the right spot to Kitchen everything together so that the stitch count would be the same, because it was increasing every other row, so I had to Kitchener it back together in one of the knit rows. But I did it. I did it, and I wasn't even off with my stitches. I somehow, and I don't know how this happened, but somehow I actually counted it right for the stitches on my salvage yarn and the stitches on my neck, and it Kitchenered together perfectly. Ah. Yeah, so that was my adventure. What would I do in the future if I have the same issue? I would definitely undo it from the bottom and reknit it that way, because this was way too stressful. This was so stressful. This took me like an entire weekend. First, trying to undo this and then giving up and reknitting it. So in the future, I think I would definitely just suck it up and unravel it from the bottom, because it probably took more time to do this than it would have taken to do that. So yeah, that's my story. Great learning experience from a mediocre sweater knitting knitter. Yeah. Okay, really quick coffee break. Awesome. All right. I have a couple other things to show you because I did actually finish some other projects. Beautiful. My Amphitrite hat. So some of you may know that I am releasing patterns in a series called the Goddess Pantheon hat series. And the backstory on this is I had knit up a couple of Christmases ago a hat for each of the ladies that I work with in the planning to release all of these patterns like soon at that point, but that was a couple of years ago. So now I'm finally releasing these hat patterns. And the first one is the Amphitrite hat. So Amphitrite was the goddess of the sea and wife of Poseidon, and she was just so like absolute in her power and tie to the sea that the only time that she was really associated with her husband was when they were calling her the wife of Poseidon, basically. So there's this like strong, powerful woman, goddess of the sea. And I was just like, that really resonated with me with this hat pattern because it looks a little bit like mermaid tails. So here's the Amphitrite hat. And this was my test knit of it for the pattern release because the first one obviously was given away for Christmas a couple years ago. But here it is. It looks like there's some cable work here, but it's actually all fake cables. So there's no actual cables. There's lots of eyelets, yarn overs, knit 2 together, knit 3 together, that sort of thing. Beautiful cable detail. Got some of this going on. And this was knit up in what was originally Northern Bay fibers, now wool interrupted, on the oleo base. The colorway is Irish Jig, and it is 100% superwash merino. Again, knit up on 3.5 millimeter needles for the brim and 4 millimeter needles, which are also US 6, for the body of the hat. may as well show you what the crown looks like as well. Hopefully you can see that. I can't see the screen, so I hope that is focused. There it is. And it's a slouchy hat, as most of mine tend to be, because I like slouch. It looks a little funny because I have ponytails on, but here it is. Hopefully you can see it all and my head is not cut off. There it is. And this hat pattern is officially released. Yeah, so it is officially available on my Ravelry store and soon to be available on my Etsy store as well. So there it is. Oh, I just love this hat so much. Now my problem is I think I have too many hats. Yeah. Is that really a problem though? No, maybe not. Anyways, I finished my second hat pattern that will be in the Goddess Pantheon hat series, and the name on this one is Eunomia, who was the Greek goddess of good order, and by some interpretations that also means organization. And the lady that I had made this hat for is like so organized, super organized, to-do list, checklist, gets things done, has a good plan all the time. And that was why I thought the Eunomia name would be perfect for this hat pattern. So here it is. Another slouchy hat, obviously. Now this is knit up in Malabrigo on the Rio space. The Valentina colorway, also known as number 689. It's another 100% superwash merino blend. I guess it's not a blend. It's 100% superwash merino. And again, 3.5/US 4 needles for the brim, 4mm/ US 6 needles for the body of the hat. And this is what the crown looks like, where it all comes together there. Now this hat uses a lot of stitches and a lot of cables. And yeah, let's see if you can see that. So we've got some cable work all the way up here. We've got knitting through the back loop. We've got this cute little, almost like a braided pattern. And it all comes up to the top where we go like, just very nice and kind of bubbly to me, but also super orderly. And it uses wrapped stitches here, so these are not cables, these are wrapped stitches, and the cables. I really like how it looks. It almost looks a little bit like honeycomb to me. Yeah, I really love this hat pattern though. So the call for test knitters for this hat officially starts today and will end next Saturday, which is May 15th, and that is also the day that the test knit starts and ends 2 weeks later on the 29th, I believe. I'll have to double check, but I'm pretty sure that's what's in my notes, and yeah, that is correct. So there it is, and I'll put it on, show you what it looks like. I really have this thing about wanting my hats to be centered when I wear them, which is a little unreasonable because, I mean, I'm the only one who would care, probably, but there it is. So another reason that I really like slouchy hats is because I have a lot of hair. I have a lot of hair, and this way there's extra room if I want to go out with my hair in a ponytail or in a bun, and it's winter, obviously, and cold out, so I don't want my hair down and freezing. So yeah, that's part of the reason I really like the slouchy hats. Mostly because I have a lot of hair. Oh my goodness, there's this hair right in front of my eyeball. Sorry. Sorry about that. Okay, and that is it for finished objects, I guess, unless you consider this a finished object, which it kind of is, and this one. So the turquoise ring, I've been making rings. The turquoise ring I actually finished a while ago, but I did some adjustments to the bevel cup, because it wasn't quite flush to the ring. It's still not quite flush to the ring, but it's pretty darn close. So here it is. Yeah. I really like it. That's my turquoise ring. And I did one with a small Ammonite piece, which I really love because I really like red. And here it is. So hopefully we can get it to focus here and not just get that light ring. Come on. Yeah, so there it is, the Ammonite. And since it's such a small stone, I really did a bit of sanding on the edge of this cup here so that it would fold and get closer to the stone itself. This is the smallest stone I've done to date, so I was pretty proud. And yeah, I just really like red, so as soon as I saw this little Ammonite stone, I knew I had to turn it into a ring for myself. Now my other problem is I have too many rings. I have this like cup of little copper rings with all of my jewelry, and it's getting a little excessive. Well, life of a crafter. All right, last thing I have is some stash enhancement. So local yarn store day was 2 weeks ago, I believe, or so. So I had to take advantage of the sale that one of my local yarn stores was hosting. I believe it was 20% off. And also supporting local, like that's very much a thing that I really like to do. I'm dropping yarn here whenever I can. So I got myself a sweater quantity of more Anthem yarn. So again, it is 100% acrylic, and this is just red, I think. There's no color name on here. I know there's a name for the color. I'm pretty sure it is just red, but I'll double check and put it in the notes. Otherwise, it is color number 3. So there it is. Very pretty, very vibrant. It's gonna make a really great sweater. It's coming through slightly more pink on camera than it is in real life. Let's see here. That's pretty true to color here. Just slightly less pink and a little more red. Don't mind the cat hair. Apparently, my favorite feline, my only feline, has figured out how to open the IKEA storage cubes that are, inside their cube spots. Open them and go inside and sleep in my yarn. So I had gotten this whole cube shelf storage thing set up so that I was not getting cat hair on my yarn, and now she figures out how to pull the cubes open and get... What a cat. What a freaking cat. I love her so much, but she is such a pain in my butt sometimes. I even thought I would fool her by switching the cubes around a little bit, and she still found the one with the yarn. I don't know how she does it. She just like grabs and pulls. Anyways, it doesn't matter. All right. Oh, I did want to show you another thing before I wrap up. My boss got me this cute little sweater. Yesterday she gave it to me. So it says, "Knitting keeps me from unraveling," and I just think it is super cute, very thoughtful, definitely me. So thank you, Tammy. It is so cute. Love it. Okay, stop being distracted. All right, so that is everything for today. I'm going to cut it here. I hope you guys have an absolutely wonderful Mother's Day, full of love and talking to all those people that you want to talk to and all of that good stuff. So stay safe and stay warm and happy and healthy, and I will talk to you again soon.